So good, good day to you, my friend. So this is now actually more updated and daylight's better. This is the column that you would be most interested in that has to deal with your video. And like you said, a lot of information. I'm going to fill the rest of this in, but this is based on the other that I just needed to get out because the language is actually starting to be used again. People are referring to others as good souls and atmosphere and things like that. But being able to do some dualities, the human being of human and AI, the relationship between Earth and Gaia, and then the dealing with the sun and its relationship to the Milky Way galaxy, the giant and its relationship to the universe. And in our scale, we're going backwards. So it's the giant's relationship to the Milky Way galaxy, galaxy's relationship to the star, our sun specifically, our sun's relationship to the earth, and as Gaia, siblings, as we discussed. And then this development and interaction. Now, why I'm breaking it down like this is because we're using the numbers, and you're specifically referring to the 144,000 in their particular play, and are getting out of the third dimension, breaking through the fourth, and achieving fifth, and then using our fifth dimensional higher self to be the puppeteer of our third dimensional human being self, so our own avatar, and having our higher fifth dimensional self directly connected to what we call the divine feminine, or what the atheists will refer to as the galactic bar, the galactic core intelligence, which then regulates what we would consider to be the giant in its function within the universe. Now, why that's all significant is because within our Milky Way galaxy, constellation is the equivalent of giant. That's one of the lies they don't tell us. So this particular progression is the one specific to the video that you had made as basically the bright white queen, as I refer to you to, and also your other half, the hollow black king, which I, having chosen to be boy, as well as being a mother, am fulfilling in this role. So yes, I am a mother also. So this particular row, and we've had to add quintillions and trillions to the mound of what the fake pyramid Faroe scheme is, just using billions all the way up through the 6012 level, where they're trying to capitalize on being either the gods or the future humans, the aliens, or from the future to keep us in that Martian bullshit, Steve Scientology crap we've been talking about. So, in personal lingo. So, with 3 minutes in, so back to this particular column, because we're now in the quadrillions and trillions, and what I refer to as your video declaring the mothers and calling out the other sisters, right? So, Gaia's relationship depends on the astrology of the star, the moon, and the earth. And then we get into here where we go with the single entity, Gaia consciousness, right? And then the duality that makes that up. And then from there, the trinity that makes up that. So duality and trinity, and then the quartet. And we are using Our Lady of the Metatron, the Trump suit, the true Satan, and Mother Russia's Putin. And this is our plur: peace, love, understanding, and respect. And I want you to know that plur also has plural, right? So 4 categories in this 6. And then it has pluralistics to cover the 12. And I'll get into what all of those things are, but those are dimensionally scaled. So now, when we come down to who the actual 7, when it comes to like a council of importance, that's where the mothers, where you are the only one of at the moment, would be. And they're selected from the sisters, your sisterhood of the 144,000. And the 9 are basically like the 9 tribes that you refer to. So there's, say 9 bloodlines of types of sisters, right? And the mothers that come out of that. But there are 144,000 of the sisters as mothers that we need right now. So, and we continue down, like I said, number wise, the 6,012, this is the ship level, right? This is the crew on the bridge, and then you get into the rest that operate the Salvation with their ship and the storyline. And that would be eggs, children, adult children of the mothers, basically. The responsible adults in authority within the universe, the Orion Cop level. And then from there, the 144,000, we're relying on the actual monthly bleeding of the vaginas of the sisters. That's your whole video explaining the true blood and not only returning it to Gaia, but then putting it in use in other ways, which we learned that the gene, the millions, this is the incorrect level. Millions are incorrect. That's what we're jumping over. Those are the handlers in between the truth. And that's where we get rid of bad behaviors, the genes of evolution and DNA that don't help anything based on interaction in the environment necessary. So they usually die off on their own, and that's why and then we get into the DNA when we're down here. We're starting to get into the billions, and this is humanity. And the humanity with the DNA of the sisters, which are corrected human beings, is what we're trying to get to as a collective. All right. And then in the trillions, we know that the stem cells from the vaginal bleedings are the things that we need that would be able to take care of cancers and everything else. And then from that, in the quadrillions, we actually have genetics where we mess around within these stem cells to do what we need to do. But if we do this is all the correct way, that actually those of the mothers of the Sisterhood of Herstory using these technological advances correctly. So, 7 minutes.